Good morning, everybody. All right, today's a big day. March 31st crop intentions report today, 11 o'clock Central Time. Those numbers will come out. We'll go through a little bit of the expectations here in a minute, but first we're going to look at the action from yesterday and expectations for today. Obviously, yesterday was a little more bearish than I would have expected, just given the fact that I talked about we probably want to wait to see the report numbers. But, with a pretty ugly move yesterday, big bar, let's pull this up here, came down, tested this low, the swing low that I had discussed. We're currently down 1.25 at 42 3/4. This swing low was 42 3/4. We closed yesterday at 484, had a low of 43 1/4, so didn't quite get there, but we did close below the trend line, closed below the 20-day, so just uglier than I would have thought. We did have some follow through with that in the overnight, got a low of 482, and like I said, we are sitting on that swing low right now. So obviously expecting some bearish information today. It just depends on if they get what they're expecting or not. So we'll have to watch that action today, but this was much more aggressive than I would have expected pre-report, closing below that trend line and closing below some of the moving averages that we spent a decent amount of time above here. If you can look at the blue line here, the 20-day, we've been above this the majority of this acceleration higher, and now we've closed below it yesterday, so not a great sign. In the short term, today, resistance will be the 5 and the 10-day here around 487. So you got 486 3/4, 487 3/8, and then the trend line, obviously up here around 489 or so today, a little bit above that probably. Separation on the stochastics suggesting lingering downside momentum. I would guess that if we are to get weak again here early before the report, you're going to test this low, 476 3/4, but then your first obvious target is going to be, I would say, I'm not sure this 50-day will matter a whole lot. It might be back down into this kind of support area here where you spent some time around 470 or so. So that'll be something to watch. None of this will matter if we get information they don't expect today, right? If you come out and, really blow the acres out of the water for what the expectations are, the market's going to do what it needs to do to adjust. So, all right, moving on to soybeans. All right, November soybeans, pretty quiet day, inside day yesterday, which means you did not take out the previous day's high or low, just kind of hung in there. Looks like we did maybe try to take that swing low out last night. We had a low of 1141.5. That low was 1141, so still didn't quite get there. Hanging on above this 20-day, not doing a whole lot, just waiting for the report information. So today's support will be, we'll just start off with this swing low here of 1141. Obviously, the one that matters in the short term is this at 1133 3/4, as we've discussed. This swing high, 1158 1/4, is going to be an area to watch. This market's definitely much more middle of the road, not sure what to expect. They aren't sure what to expect from the information that comes out today. So we'll see. Just have to wait for price action. I would guess that if it's waited this long, it'll either make some guesses right before the report comes out, or it's just going to wait and see what the information is within that. Do have some separation down here, suggesting some lingering downside, but we haven't really had downside, so I'm not sure that plays out within there. Let's take a look real quick here, if we can, at just what the expectations for acres are in the short term today. Let me pull this up. Okay, let's take a look at this here now. Planted acres expectations, average trade guess for corn 94.371, last year 98.78, so you can see a huge difference from last year. Soy 85.549, last year 81.215, so big acres there. Soy fundamental situation is tighter. That's the one with the better story right now. But with the stuff coming off of South America, and if this holds true today, then that can flip pretty quickly as long as weather cooperates. So these are the expectations today. This is what the market is supposedly trading currently. You have a little bit of an increase from the February outlook for corn, which, again, you have to assume that that's based on the situation in Iran, and a lot of people I think would suggest that that could be higher. So that's probably the concern walking into today. A little bit of an increase as well with soy. So yeah, this is what the trade is currently expecting, at least as far as some managed money and things go. So we will see if they get what they're expecting or not. But those are the areas I'd be watching today. We'll have to see the price action. And again, these are those days where technicals probably matter a little bit less, because if the market gets what they're expecting, then sure, it'll be fine. But if the market doesn't get what it's expecting, and these things are way off from what the trade was looking at coming in, then the technicals will not matter much today. All right, everybody have a great day. I'll try to get something out when the report comes out as well. So we'll talk then. Thanks. Bye.